What's up, y'all? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck, and this is Extreme Gains. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022, CPI Day, and this is my AMC, GME, and SPY Tuesday daily update and preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. As always, I hope y'all had a great day in the market, both yesterday and today. More importantly, I hope you made some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going to go over all of my regulars, my snake algo method for all three tickers, some macro comparatives, and some side-by-side projections from Sunday's weekly update and prep video, and the fulfillment of those projections with both yesterday and today's price action. So with all of that said, let's dig in. A little bit different update and prep video this time. I'm still live here in the Discord with both the general and premium members. The market is still open. I thought I would try to do this because I typically do a review from time to time with the Discord before we end our day in there, and this is a day for the update and prep video. So I thought I would kill two birds with one stone. So we are all here together, and we're going to go ahead and try to get this all done at the same time. So like I said, I hope you all had a great day in the market today. CPI data was released at 0830 this morning. Crazy volatility in the market. You'll see here in a second, it was obviously all planned out and absolutely dead on intraday, micro intraday projection and fulfillment, as myself and the Discord all got to witness today, and it was pretty fun. So hopefully y'all were able to take advantage of that as well. Diving right into the other charts currently on your screen is AMC and my current intro week snake. AMC currently down regular trading hours in this exact moment, 4.2%, trading at 570. The current intra-week snake on your screen in red is the day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake here that you see in blue in behind it. And once again, yesterday and today, price action continued to fulfill its projection absolutely dead on. Here's the side-by-side from Sunday's weekly update and prep video. The location of price action within it, the projection from it, and the continued fulfillment of it as it was projecting with both yesterday and today's price action. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Now, from a technical perspective, I've talked about these levels repeatedly. They're all the same. They're still intact. Looking at that 547, 548 critical level of support to downside, we have made our move back down to it. We damn near hit it dead on the head on the nail here today. I think the intraday low was what did I say earlier? 555, 553, somewhere in that range. So we damn near hit it dead on, but you see where we're at within it. I'll be looking for that breach of the 547, 548 critical level to downside. The next level down I'll be looking at will be the 503. And then, like I had said previously, I'd have to put another potential reverse third in here, and that would put that level somewhere down here between 475 and 450. Is what I'm seeing as a potential low if that 505 level were to breach the downside. However, back upside, same levels are still intact. I'd be looking at the 681 macro W neckline back upside, and then a breach of that, I'd be looking for a move to the 790 level of resistance up top there. So that's everything from that perspective on AMC. The macro comparative, as we had previously discussed, and as most, if not all of you know, this is the macro double bottom from prior to the January 2021 run up. And I looked at, I think, three different potential positions of this. This is the OG position of it where we had diverted out of that continued upside fulfillment. And I used the current intra-week snake up against it to show you kind of what that was looking like and how that invert mirrored projection and potential subsequent fulfillment would look like if it continued to fulfill it in this way. And you can see how that is a direct invert mirroring of that upside projection being fulfilled in a downside manner. And that is the position of the OG macro comparative. So in that way, I think it's still valid in this position. But with that, I had looked at moving this over, and what it was a horizontal compression, but I'm just moving it here in the update and prep to save me from trying to compress this and be that accurate with it on the fly like that. So the first potential alternate position was compressing it in horizontally like that, therefore putting that bottom down here at the 547, 548, projecting a bounce from there back up to the 790 critical level of resistance to upside, or significant level I should say, of resistance back to upside before what looks to be a double top and a continuation to downside after the rejection up there. So obviously, like I said in the Sunday weekly update and prep video, that characteristic of movement is going to be pretty definitive moving forward, away from the continued downside projection that the other two positions of this are. And that third one here that I was looking at was right here, and this is an identical projection of what the intra-week snake is currently showing and has been. So if we were to continue to fulfill that way, the offset gap, just in case you're wondering, the offset gap here with me just shifting it from east to west versus me actually compressing this, actually aligns itself for this blue macro comparative run up to align itself right here with the red intra-week snake. Absolutely perfectly aligned when I make that full compression of it. So those are the ongoing potential alternate placements of the macro comparative that I have been looking at and going to continue to look at and track throughout this continued price action with AMC. So that's everything that I am looking at with AMC moving into specifically tomorrow and beyond. Up next is GME. GME is currently down 7.23% in regular trading hours, trading at 21.03, 21.04. The current intra-week snakes are on your screen. Blue, the day of the previous divergence. Red, the day prior to the previous divergence. Both of these were projecting this move back downside. We looked at these separately, so we'll do that again. Here's the day prior to, obviously projecting this double bottom somewhere around this 2170. You can see the first candle of it did breach down. We did get that breach fulfillment of it with the bounce back upside, the rejection, and back downside. Now we have outran the second projected candle and that second projected bottom just a little bit with that 2170 breach. However, at the moment, I do think it's still in range to potentially put that bounce back into the upside, therefore that continued fulfillment of it. So you can see the continued fulfillment of the day prior to and what the projection would be from it moving forward if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Likewise, here's the day of, and it was projecting that bounce back up off of the 2170 back up to the 25.25 as previously discussed, and then a continuation to downside from there with that 2170 breach. And that is currently where we're at. And it does look like we're potentially fulfilling that, but like I said, I'm not sold on it yet until I see a definitive push away from that 2170 a little more than where we're at right now. Definitely making that crystal clear that it's fulfilling to the downside rather than a potential quick fake down breakdown and a move back upside and then a retake of that 2170. So again, you can see where we're at within it, what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Here's the side-by-side from Sunday's weekly update and prep video, our location of price action within it, the projection from it, and the continued dead-on fulfillment of it with both yesterday and today's price action. From a technical perspective, on GME, likewise to AMC, all of the previous significant and critical levels of support and resistance are still intact, and I am still looking at them as that. So you can see here, like I said, the 2170 breach to downside. I had talked about this. I'd be looking for that move from there down to the 1948 or 1950, if that were to be that definitive breach and continuation of fulfillment of the day of divergence to that downside. However, a retake of the 2170 back to the upside, I'll be looking for a move right back up to that 25.25 level. And then obviously a breach of that, the next thing that comes here will be that macro ascending level of support. So that's everything that I am looking at with GME. Then last but not least is SPY. SPY. We're closed. Ding, ding, ding. Market is closed. Market is closed. Discord. Ding, ding, ding. SPY traded today up 0.74% in regular trading hours. Currently down 0.06% in after hours. Trading at 401.70. 401.70. The current intra-week snakes that I have been tracking are on your screen. The set of three. Red the day prior to only. Orange could be day of or day prior to, and when I say that, I'm talking about the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake, and then the blue would be the day of divergence only. The red, I had brought this back up the day prior to, brought this back up and showed you I thought it would be relevant if we got the breach back downside here, to which we did not. As you see, we put the W formation in as also projected and did not continue that downside fulfillment. So again, this is going off to the side. It is essentially irrelevant at this point and been invalidated with that move to the upside for the time being until I see potential relevance with it moving forward, if that even comes back into play. However, here's the orange, and in this scenario, orange would be the day prior to, blue would be the day of that previous divergence that I've been talking about. And in its position as discussed, right there it is, projecting that potential move to the upside back up to the confluence of resistance between the previous top level and that macro descending level of resistance as previously discussed. And that is exactly what we got here today with the CPI data move to the upside. You can see it wicked the whole way up there to 415, right under 415 before it got raked the whole way back downside. Box top method had this thing pegged on the intraday setup here from the, I guess, mid time frame, if you will, and had that thing pegged for that rejection back downside, and that's what exactly fulfilled. You can see with this current intra-week snake that we continued to fulfill that, where we're at within it, and what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Here's the side-by-side. Let me go with the other one. Here's the side-by-side from Sunday's weekly update and prep video. Our location within it, the projection from it for the completion of that W structure and move back upside, and the dead on candle for candle fulfillment of it with both yesterday and today's price action. I already said you can see what the projection is from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then I have the blue, the day of divergence. I looked at this in both the straight up and the mirrored positions. This is the straight up position for that potential continuation move to upside. And you can see once again yesterday and today, it continued to stay valid and relevant with the fulfillment of it to the upside. Here's the side-by-side from Sunday's weekly update and prep video. Our location of price action within it, the upside projection from it, and the continued dead-on fulfillment of it in that position. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then we also looked at this in the mirrored position for a potential move back downside. And this was something that I reevaluated with the premium Discord. We had talked about this on Monday during our private live stream and the potential alternate position that I had this in. And we ended up, and I think I showed it, I'm about to show you the side-by-side. I think I had it about here in the side-by-side, and what I really needed to do was have this thing over here, and that's my fault for the update and prep video. I should have been paying more attention to the location of where I had it, but right there's where it was at and where it was meant to be. You can see the continued fulfillment of it in that position. Here's that side-by-side that I am referring to right here. Right there's the side-by-side that I'm referring to. I had it shifted to the left a little bit and it needed over here to the right, obviously. You can see that even in that position with it incorrectly placed here for the update and prep on Sunday, again, my apologies. You can see it was projecting that upside to that inside corner, and here's the fulfillment of it as projected and our location within it. You can see what the projection is from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it in this position as well. So we got the blue day of and the orange day prior to still intact right now, still looking good. From a technical perspective on SPY, boy, did these levels play out perfectly or what? We had talked about the previous levels of significance and the support and resistance throughout this top and box top build out that we're currently in, and how that may come back into play here on the way back up and or for the breach to downside, depending upon what price action did here with that CPI data. And we got the W fulfillment as projected for that upside move Here's the side-by-side of the technicals that I went over in the Sunday update and prep video, projecting that W formation fulfillment and how that would look, obviously, back to the upside. And that's exactly what we got fulfilled here with yesterday and today's price action. So same levels are still intact. I'm still looking. We did breach top up, and we did breach the macro descending level of resistance up, which is a sign of strength to the upside. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not, because it is. However, it does still have some confirmation work to do to get up over this, to retake that level with conviction for that continuation move to upside. So if it were to do that, initially, I'm looking for the top breach to upside. So I'll be looking for a breach of the 403.50 to upside. Obviously, a little bit higher than that up here. I'll call it the 403.50 though, to upside above the macro descending level of resistance. If it can reclaim that level of resistance as support, then I'd be looking for this thing to move from there up here to that 418.50 lower neckline for this macro W formation. I'd be looking for a move directly up there as potentially fast as possible. However, back downside, if this thing were to reject off of the previous top at 403.50 or just continue downside as it was doing here most of today after the morning pop to the upside on that CPI data, I'd be looking at the previous W upper neckline here, this W formation that we had mapped out in the last update and prep video. Be looking at that neckline back downside, and then obviously the lower smaller side W neckline back downside, ultimately the macro ascending level of support. A breach of that ascending level of support is where I'd be looking for this thing to move back down here to the previous macro critical level of support back down here around 355 to 360. So regarding those levels back downside, the initial neckline back downside I'd be looking at will be 398.61. A breach of that, I'll be looking for a move down to 395. A breach of 395, I'm looking for the macro ascending level of support to potentially pick that thing up here around, if it happened tomorrow, around 392. But a breach of that 392 to downside, and ultimately the most significant level just under 392 is 390. A breach of 390 to downside is what I'm really looking at for that macro confirmation to downside. We have the top framework here with the macro neckline and the macro top. That 392 is right here with that neckline, and it's converging here for that confluence of support, just like we have the confluence of resistance up here to the upside as well. So if it breaches at 392, that's great. That's my indication to downside. A breach of the 390 down is my confirmation. So that is everything from all of those perspectives on SPY that I am looking at moving into tomorrow and beyond. And that is everything I have for this update and prep video. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it. I meant to say this at the beginning. Quick reminder, I will be live here tomorrow all day long on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel from 9 a.m. Eastern until market close. Don't forget about it. Set a reminder. Come by, hang out with us, trade with us, all that good stuff. I hope to see you all then. Those of you that do not show up tomorrow to the live stream, good luck in the markets. Make some extreme gains for yourselves, and I will see you all on the next one. To the rest of y'all, I'll see you first thing in the morning. Later.